Welcome back to Diary of an Executive. Today I have a very universal topic to discuss with my guests. And today's guests aren't any guests. They're the very OG people in our society. In fact, they're the founders of the UTS Personal Growth Society, the illustrious David Phan and Ohm Bhandari. Together we're going to be unpacking the role of community in personal growth, or in plain English, how we can grow together with family and friends. Hi David, hi Ohm, welcome.
Hey.
Or should you be welcoming me as the founders?
I guess so.
Welcome, Natalie.
Welcome.
How's your day been recently, your week?
Pretty busy, to be honest. I'm kind of in the middle of a big project.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's exciting. It's probably my most ambitious project I've ever worked on. But with ambition and motivation comes it can be a bit, a lot for you mentally. So navigating that has been tough, but really fulfilling. So yeah.
Is that a personal thing that you're doing, or is it part of your degree?
Actually, I combined it with my degree. So it's one of my subjects, but the thing I'm integrating is motion graphics, which is not related to music, right? But I was might as well challenge myself. So
Yeah.
overall, busy week, but important.
You never know where you use that skill.
I actually think I want to branch out with music and animation and film. So I think it'll be important for career anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
I think my week will look pretty good. I'm seeing this guy every single day for the week, Monday to Friday. So that's a highlight. If that's not a highlight, I don't know what is. And then I have a big assignment that's kind of coming up. And so that's putting a little bit of stress. I'm not feeling too stressed about it. I think I should because it's quite large and big for my university degree. But we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
There's always that pattern where at the end of the semester, the assignment they give us is always bigger than the first one. And it gets pretty stressful.
100%.
I used to think they were roommates. They were so close to each other, yeah. They would always come together.
I can see that. I can very see that.
Okay, I'm going to get into our episode topic, and basically it's community. But before I get specifically into community and the role of community in personal growth, I'm going to ask you a question that I ask everyone who kind of comes on our podcast. What does personal growth mean to you? It varies from person to person, so what is it in a nutshell for each of you?
For me, personal growth is about taking steps in order to create a life that for me is peaceful, fulfilling, purposeful, and authentic. And so that's the life that I want to live, both on a day-to-day basis, but also for the long term throughout my whole life. And so whether it's taking short-term or long-term goals, whether it's doing something external or internal, I want it all to eventually lead to having this life that I find purposeful, authentic, fulfilling, and peaceful. And so for me, that's why I do things. Yeah.
Well, for me, there are a few overarching pillars. I'd say achieving peace, one of probably my biggest things. Mental clarity, physical, just having good physical health, mental health, emotional health, all these things. But it does change based on where I feel I am in my life. So right now, I feel like I have a lot of momentum with my career with the music. So I'd say that adds the most depth to, my own personal growth. So I'll find ways to, for example, I'll have a session of music for an hour in the morning or at night, and I'm just refining that process. And that to me is my own personal growth. But then if I neglect my mental health for too long, then it's oh, okay, maybe mental health is the focus now. So it kind of switches based on situation. But overall, anything that drives me towards more peace, mental clarity, those things.
Yeah, that's so true. You can't really be focusing on all of them at the same time always.
Yeah.
It kind of switches around. And I can relate to how you use your career and that passion to kind of feed into your mental health. Yeah. What are some unique approaches to personal growth that you implement in your life?
Good. I like this question. Mine's interesting. I do these random challenges. And David's aware of this.
Is it the 30-day challenge?
Well, that's one of them.
Yeah.
I did a 30-day content creation challenge.
Yeah.
But honestly, these are really spontaneous. So for example, the other day, I really wanted to go on a run. And I'm how do I motivate myself to go on a run? So in the PGSOC Discord server, I asked Yatik, one of the members, give me a number from 1 to 20. And he gave me 19.9. He didn't know the context. And I was like, okay, let me use this as a challenge to run 19.99 kilometers. So that night I went on a run. It was a 2-hour grueling run. And I ran to a Macca's afterwards. And it was so satisfying. Like I'd felt runner's high the entire time. And it's things like that, you know, are unique for my own personal growth journey. And they're intrinsic, you know, like normally like an athlete or something, they'll run a 20K in the morning, like that's part of their routine. But for me, doing spontaneous things that challenge myself, I think that's what I find unique. Yeah,
That's the beauty of personal growth. Everyone does something different.
Yeah, I'd also like to take time to like compliment him on that kind of stuff because he sets his mind to it and he doesn't hesitate. Like he's like, this is the challenge I want to do. And you know, although you might have some fear or worries about it, like I rarely see you back down with it. And so I think that's very impressive. And you know, I've also been in some of those challenges. Like we had a run at Liverpool, that was crazy for me. And yeah, it's a joy to be around someone who loves to take up these challenges.
It's nice how you guys motivate each other also.
Yeah.
We'll definitely talk about that more later.
Yeah.
For me, so recently I've been trying to understand, I guess, more about myself internally, and notice how my environments affect me. So a lot of times in the past, I've been doing some like meditation and mindfulness training in order to be more aware of my thoughts and where my thoughts come from. Do they come from desires? Do they come from authenticity? Do they come from pressures, external pressures, internal pressures, etc.? But recently, I've been looking more into the body. So I've been really sitting down and analyzing and observing like how my body feels at certain times of the day, and also when I take certain decisions. So the biggest thing for me right now is changing my diet and improving my health. So I eat junk food, and then I fully allow myself to be aware intensely of like, okay, how do I feel like after eating junk food? And you know, you feel like shit, right? Like junk food is not healthy for you. So I try to be like, okay, but like, where is it? Where do I feel it? And so I feel anxious. My heart rate is so much higher. My energy feels dispersed. I can't stabilize myself. I can't focus on what I want to do. And just being aware of that and acknowledging that and making sure that my mind and my body understands the consequences of these actions makes it easier for me in the future to be like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have this right now. And the same is for the opposite. So even when I do something good for me, I also try to acknowledge and feel how that feels. So after a workout at the gym, and I'm feeling very blissful and very like tired, but also like very happy after the workout, I sit down in my car and I'm like, let me just feel like how good this feels right now. And so that helps my mind like understand the benefits of it. And I feel like experience precedes behavioral change. So I think an example of this is like for a kid, like a kid wants to touch a stove and you're like, don't touch it, it's really hot. Like you're gonna burn yourself, it's gonna be horrible. But the kid doesn't know. And so the kid might like think about it for a second, but if they touch it, then they will know, okay, now they know not to ever touch a hot stove again. And like information, just by telling them, like, it's not gonna persuade them. They need to actually experience it. So I try to experience, okay, the actual consequences of these actions in order to be like, okay, now I can change. Yeah, that's one way. So just observe. Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned how like it's very important to focus back on your body, because sometimes we neglect it, and a lot of the times we're just caught in our minds and we're just sitting in there thinking about these thoughts and these emotions. But like it all starts with the body, and like say you're anxious about something, it's going to show up in your body, as you were saying. And like even like just when you're in a happy mood, like knowing that, so then when the bad stuff comes, you know the difference and you know what to do.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
very important. Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, so moving into our topic today, community. Have you ever gone through a time where you felt like you didn't have community? If you did experience this, can you tell us a bit more about the experience and maybe some advice to people who could be struggling to find community? Like, especially in a uni setting, usually we assume that we're going to make friends immediately. but it's not always the case. Like personally for me, I kind of felt like I made more friends when I came into the society, whereas outside of it, outside of it, sometimes it's hard. Like in tutorials, like an hour and a half, how deep are you going to get with the person in front of you? And everyone comes in with a different mindset into the tutorial. Like not everyone wants to make friends, or some people just stick with their old friends that they already made. And like in a society, we just get deeper.
Yeah.
You know, how deep we get.
That first bonding.
Yeah.
Well, for me, in high school, I did have a friend group, but I don't feel like I had anyone that, I guess you could say, truly understood me. I didn't really have that group of people, and this kind of it was difficult to manage. I'd been in a lot of friend groups, scattered between 3 or 4 of them, but wasn't part of a singular one. So I did struggle feeling community, this community sense. We did have sports, we did have academics, things to bond over. But I think for me, what really felt like community was feeling understood and doing things that really mattered to me. And in high school, to be honest, I didn't really know what that meant anyway. But it's more of a feeling. Now, when I came to uni and I met David, I think it was a feeling, like instantly, that I was like, wait a minute, I want to get to know this guy. Something feels really warm
It's
about
an
this.
instant click.
I know, right? Right?
You don't have to force anything.
And even like, he pulled out the book Atomic Habits, and that sparked me to think, oh, something's here. But it was less about the book, honestly. It's more about like, I don't know, I felt like the approach he was taking to reading the book, or like his mindset in life, was something I resonated with. And then we just hung out, and the more we hung out, I was like, this is what community feels like to me. And then because of that, we're like, let's do this with more people. Hence PG Sock. Anyway. So yeah, that's my answer.
So I'll answer the question about like a time where I didn't have a community, and I guess how that experience is like. I think I have had many times where there's some isolation. I think the biggest one was from the like after graduation, like high school graduation. And so I was in a very tough spot socially. So I had a lot of like horrible factors. Like, some of them are good, but like it's just a horrible side in terms of socially. So first was like I was depressed, like medically diagnosed, just at the end of year 12, and so that was big in like determining how my emotions were, how my mood is, my like functioning. Second was that so I had a full-time job at an engineering company, and so that's Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. And so how does that give me time for university and like socializing? So that was pretty difficult. And then I was in a very unique degree. So it was a new degree from UTS. That was 2 years. That is invite only. So it's not like you can just apply for it. Like you get an invite and then you accept it. And so the cohort consisted of around like, I think like around like 30 students overall. But here's the thing, like they were all like middle-aged, like 30 to 40-ish, like 50-ish. And so you can see how like as someone who was like freshly like 18, 19, it's very hard to connect to those type of people who just live entirely different lives. Like they have families. And all my high school friends went to different universities. So I guess the culmination of these factors made it hard for me to find like friends and a community. And I think how that felt was like isolation, like really like it's really harms you because like we're social creatures, and so that attacks both the mind, the body, and the soul. And so you feel very down, you feel lost. There's not much motivation. You get low energy, you get low mood, and I think it's just such a big part of our lives, socializing, that if we neglect it, you can experience all these sort of like negative things. I think the only thing is like at that point you're so like you're at the bottom, so and there's a huge gap for you to take. But maybe you take that gap as like motivation. Like I don't want to be here right now. Let me, whatever desire you have to get out of the bottom pit, like use that desire and like get out of it, which is why I guess I did. And there was the second part of that question. I think it's like how to find community.
And like any advice that you have, maybe.
First, join Peachy Sock.
Yeah, I recommend.
Probably the first thing. But yeah, it's like really like getting yourself out there, and a lot of times it might be a trial and error. Like you you probably have some hobbies, and there's like some societies out there where if you share those hobbies, just go to them, try to talk to people, join clubs, and there's clubs even outside of university as well, just like meetup groups, and really just get yourself out there. And like once you find those people that genuinely like click with you and they care for you, yeah. But it's not it's easier said than done for sure, right? Right. That's why for some people it takes a long time. Yeah, yeah. That's my thoughts.
It's very. Oh, do you want to add something?
Yeah, I'll just quickly add. For me, it was, again, adding onto yours, I think being authentic is really important here because you can go and meet people and be part of many groups but not feel so connected with them. So I think one, acknowledging that finding the right people for you can take time. It can take some searching. Just going through that process with authenticity, you will find those people. Like there are a lot of like-minded people out there, especially, it doesn't even matter, like within sports, like when I play cricket or soccer or tennis, play quite a few sports. When I'm me and I'm just being me, I make a lot of friends. And I'm not necessarily looking for them. I'm just genuinely
Yeah.
expressing my own, like enjoyment for the sport. And then I make so many great connections like that. So yeah, I think really just being authentic.
Yeah, I think also being open, because if you're constantly being in scenarios where like you're not feeling that you're finding the person, if you just maintain that open mindset, not like closing off and like, oh, I'm never going to find my people.
True.
Yeah,
It's having hope.
yeah, the hope. That's really, really important. I want to say something also. You mentioned how like there's many factors that come into play when like you're making friends. That's so true. Like a lot of the times there's that pressure kind of like, oh, if like someone says I don't have friends, it's kind of like it's your fault, but it's not really your fault. It's like a lot of factors that play a role in that. So I like that you mentioned that. It's really, really important.
Yeah, for sure. Please like like have some compassion for yourself.
Yeah.
Like life is not easy. There's a lot of factors that you get like unfortunately you can't control some of them,
Yeah.
and they really influence like your outcome. So yeah, be like compassionate to yourself.
Yeah. Do you think a person can engage in personal growth alone or with community better? We kind of dipped into that slightly.
But then, do you want to start or?
You want to go for it?
Okay, so I think it's like it is very like nuanced, as I think many things are. I think so. Firstly, like when we say like can community help you, it also kind of depends on the community. There do exist toxic communities, and so I suppose for those communities, you don't really want to be in them because it will just stunt your growth. And if you are in a good community, you still need balance. Like you still need to be able to tackle things yourself and have some autonomy in your life and have your own opinions and stand your ground. But also, yeah, getting feedback from your community, getting that that friendship, that love, that that passion, it really helps. So it's like finding that balance. And to be honest, like that balance is different to depending on the person. Like a lot of these questions, it does depend on the person. But yeah, find a good community for you. Like people who are like what Ohm said before, people who are authentic, and like then that's where you can make a strong connection because you're both being you both are like out for each other, like as in like you guys both care for each other, and so there's that mutual understanding of like I'm here to help you, and there's no ill intent, and you guys just want to get better together. So finding those type of people. Sweet. It's awesome. Yeah.
Well, for me, I think personal growth in itself, for me, comes from within. I think I really need to be at a place where I'm comfortable with myself and appreciate and embrace every part of my own journey in order to really be open to personal growth, the concept. And I think community really adds to that. So I see being alone as kind of like the base, the foundation, and community as just the pillars, the layers on top of that, and it kind of just supports the whole journey. I think it'll be very difficult if you yourself don't see your own value and other people try to show you your value. I think it's hard to understand or accept them. I think you can second guess yourself and be like, I don't believe this person. Like, I don't see it within me. So I think, yes, it is both. Both of them kind of are interlinked, but at the end of the day, I think being alone is really important, but having people around you, the right community, just makes that process even better. Yeah.
On that point, when you're trying to persuade someone of their value, if you're speaking in a language that speaks to you but doesn't speak to them, that's also very important. Like in the past,
So
I've
true.
tried to speak to people how I see it, but it doesn't work. I need to like know them and what they're like, and what's their language. And even you were saying something, authenticity, about being authentic in like connections. I feel like another factor that's like often overlooked is that sometimes people can't be authentic because of different reasons. Like for example, one of them could be they don't feel safe enough, or they don't feel accepted to show their true self, or like sometimes it's related to the environment itself, and I feel like that's not always acknowledged. Like immediately in society we will kind of put the blame on the person, but we don't stop to think like what's around them that made them that way.
Yeah, and I think a very good point. And I think as people, like, we have a good, we have the chance to help people with that. Like, this is something that you have to build. Community is something that we need to build. Like it takes people to build a village. Like we need to build this community. And so, like what you said, like we shouldn't judge people if they're not like authentic from the start. It's not because of that. Like it could be a lot of those factors, like you said, and I absolutely agree. And also your point on, like trying to see where they're at, like their view and their level, and getting to like their level of understanding, and that comes from like getting some like compassion for them and like empathy. Use your empathy to understand where they're at, and then try to understand each other. And I think that is the process that will help people open up more and start to build a community that is safe for everyone.
And like everyone's struggling with something. No person leads a perfect life. Although sometimes some people from the outside seem perfect or seem like they've got it all together, but you don't really know like what's happening with that person. Everyone struggles, even if like majority of their life is like perfect, but they're never going to be that 100% perfect.
Yeah. So it's like it could also be like some days they're authentic, some days it can't be, and so it's just making sure you check up on those people. And I agree.
Totally.
I want to quickly add to this. Novak Djokovic, he's the most successful tennis player in the world. 24 Grand Slams, like that's an unbelievable achievement. But he was on a podcast with Jay Shetty, and I was listening to it, and then he was asked a question like, how do you see your tennis career? And Djokovic says he's still not satisfied. And then he was asked the question, what has been your biggest enemy throughout the process? And he said his mind. You know, like it wasn't anyone else. It was his own brain trying to convince him, do better, you're not working hard enough. And I think when you have so much, success in a sport, people can overlook the process. And I think that was a really good example of, if people can have it together on the exterior, but if the inside is not, it's not where it wants to be, then at the end of the day, is it really worth everything? Like, obviously his career, fully worth and everything, like amazing. But I think we can't always see what's inside other people. So, just want to add that point.
Yesterday I saw something similar. Jennifer Lawrence, she was talking about how she reached a point where she didn't want to act anymore because she felt like she was just performing for people. Like whatever she's doing, it's kind of like I'm trying to please this audience, what they want more from me. Like even if you're passionate about something, I think there's always that question of, is it worth my mental health? Is it going to harm me in the long run? It's really deep stuff.
Yeah, no, that is deep.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to kind of lean into a concept that's associated with community, which is belonging. You could be in a community but not feel like you belong in it. Like, for example, sometimes you're in a social group, like they're talking about something, you feel disconnected, you don't feel like you're in the right place, or you could just feel not understood or misunderstood or not fully understood. Where in your life do you feel like you belong the most? It could be with a person, a place, a passion, an interest.
I'll answer this one. And I think I have already touched on this earlier.
Yeah.
PG sock, absolutely. I'm not trying to glaze
This is
here,
not advertising.
but for me, it's a feeling where like we kind of go about life not in the same way, but with similar mindsets, headspaces, or at least goals mentally, which really helps me kind of connect with people. Obviously, my music career and everything, I love the people there, but we have differing ambitions. Some people want a lot of monetary success, others just want to make music, right? But I think with PG Stock, like everyone's here to like help each other and grow. So for me, that makes me feel like I'm in a space where I belong, especially. So did that answer the whole question? I'm not
Yeah,
sure if that was
it feels
part of
like
it.
family in our
Yeah,
society.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know this, we're getting a bit close now, but that's how David feels to me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Let's just continue after that.
He leaves you speechless every
Yeah,
time.
he does. He does. He does. Yeah, we've had a lot of like deep moments. For me, like belonging is also a feeling, and so that feeling is hard to describe, but like it feels very safe. And like sometimes when you talk to people, like especially new people, for me, like I'm naturally like socially anxious and shy, and so for me, sometimes when I talk to people, especially new people, I'm like there's still like some like even if it's small, I feel a bit tensed. But when I'm with people that I feel like I belong with, like it's just not there. Like I feel completely safe. I feel like I can open up. And I feel like when there's someone, when me or the place or the person that I feel like the sense of belonging to, it's like we both feel like we're here for each other, and it feels very authentic. So like there's no judgment, or if there's judgment, it's like it's in like a good place, right? It's like there's no ill intent. We're here for each other. We look out for each other, even if our goals are different, even if our wants are different, even if we do have different interests and hobbies. Like the fact that we are authentic to each other and we're in each other's like good space, like that makes me feel that sense of belonging. And so I think with Ohm, I feel that. With my partner, I feel that. With my friends, I feel that. And with a place, I'll say the ocean. So with nature, I feel that, especially the ocean. So with the ocean, it's like I stand there and I listen to it, and there's just no judgment. I mean, obviously, an ocean's not going to judge you, right?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's very calming and it's very relaxing. And so once I know that's how I feel, I know that I belong here. Yeah, yeah.
I feel like it really starts with the person's intentions. If they have
100%.
good intentions and you have good intentions, you're just going to be on the same wave.
Yeah.
Whereas if one person wants something from the other person, it's never going to work out. And even the ocean and nature, I've become close to nature, I'd say this year and a bit of end of last year. Before that, I didn't really have a connection to nature, I'd say. But once I started doing similar things to you, to like meditation, that kind of thing, you start to understand that like we're part of nature and we should go back to it.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, I had my singing lesson, but I arrived early. There's like a park nearby. I just sat outside in that park and just did my own thing. I felt like kind of like balanced again. I literally felt like I'm a new person. Like I wasn't feeling too good the 2 days before that. And I felt like that kind of balanced me. And it's really underrated. We just focus on like all this technology that we're using, but like we forget that our roots are nature.
100%. I was saying with you. I was like, back in the day, I was like, what is special about nature? Like, what's the point of like going out there and just sitting down? Like, how's that stimulating? But the fact is, it's like it's very calming, and you feel the sense of belonging, and like, yeah, it's so peaceful. And look, we're in like a era where we're kind of like overstimulated with our phones and technology, right? So it's always great to have that peace and that silence. Yeah.
I just want to touch on something you mentioned because it's a really, really important topic, judgment. I know that majority of the people I know think about judgment. What's this person going to think about me? The judgment, all of that. And I feel like it's not just something to do with our generation, it's also adults. A lot of adults are also concerned about that. Can I just have your take on judgment, how you deal with it? Any advice, tips?
You want to go first?
I think I understand why people judge. That inherently we judge as people naturally, but I think for me, I try to understand someone and their perspective before just judging in a negative way. And I think being open-minded to understanding someone's perspective, to me, I know this is tied to judgment, kind of the flip side of it, but for me, it's about open-mindedness for sure. And if David does something that I don't agree with, let's say, for example, I don't want to see it. I don't like seeing that as, oh, you're wrong. I try to think of it as, he's done this because he believes it's important for him, or it's something he's just done. And framing judgment in that way, for me, kind of makes life more peaceful, more enjoyable. And I get to connect with people deeply because they themselves don't feel as judged. Even though in a way, I am still judging them. It's just framed differently. So, yeah, that's my take on judgment.
Yeah, empathy and understanding.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think for me, like the biggest thing for me to be able to not judge is empathy and experience, and acknowledging that there are people like you. Like, no one is special in the sense that you can avoid pain and suffering. Like, you're going to go through those emotions, and that's going to affect you a lot. And a lot of times, whatever actions you take, if people deem them to be like, I guess, harmful, like, just know that for them it might have came from a place of like they're suffering right now, and it could have been impulsive, it could be a learned behavior, it could be a social conditioning. And speaking about social conditioning, like we're pretty conditioned to judge.
Yeah.
Like social media, the news, you go on like platforms like Twitter or X or Reddit or whatever, and then like we're just taught to judge, and like the comment section is just full of judgment. And
Yeah,
I think for us, like acknowledge that you're in that environment. Like we, as social creatures, we're kind of like modeling other people's behaviors. We learn, like as kids, we learn based on our parents' behaviors. So we'll learn to judge. But like put yourself in their shoes. Like have some empathy on like they're going through some pain right now. And maybe in your life you haven't felt that type of pain, but pain is pain. And so if you were going through something like that, I don't think you would want that judgment. And so just acknowledge that perhaps all they need right now is just some compassion and understanding. And I think that's the way that we can move towards even like making people better. So if you give people understanding rather than harsh judgment, like you might think the harsh judgment might change them, but oftentimes like you need to be compassionate with them, and that's how they can change. So yeah, just for me, it's like, okay, most of the times when I've been into a position, like that makes it very easy because I'm like, oh, I know how hard it is for you. Like I've been there. Like there's no way I'm gonna judge because like I've been there. But even like if you haven't been in that situation, just try to mentalize and like put yourself in their shoes. Might not be easy for some people, and something that you need to train to do. But yeah.
You know what also helps? Because I do acting. A key part of acting is empathy. Because a lot of the times you're not always acting out a character that necessarily has gone through things that you've gone through or has the same motivations. So you really need to put yourself in their shoes and understand where they're coming from. Even like evil characters, no one is born evil, I guess. Like something happens that it's not an excuse to become evil. Obviously you need to be held accountable for your evilness, but at the same time,
I agree.
Getting a bit into justice now. But yeah, like there's always some starting point that they were at that led them to that. But that's also what differentiates, like you can have two people that go through the same experience. One person ends up doing evil, one person doesn't. So that's also important to not use it as an excuse that, oh yeah, I went through something, that's why I'm evil. No, it's not. Everyone goes through hard stuff.
I agree. That's such a good distinction. Like what you said. It's like use it for understanding, not justification. Like so important between like what path you take. And and that's great that your acting career kind of does that for you. Like art is amazing in that sense. Yeah.
That's why they call it art therapy, drama therapy. It really is. Yeah.
Nice, that's nice.
And you also said something about how sometimes like you just need to tell the person, I understand. Like that reassurance is sometimes what people are seeking more than the actual solution. Or even you could just reassure them and then give them the solution. Yeah. Or even the person, like being specific and clear about what they're seeking. Like, can you reassure me? Can you give me an idea on a solution? Sometimes it's also our job to ask, because you can't always expect the person opposite you to read your mind and know, oh yeah, now I'm going to reassure them now.
Yeah. Communication is so key.
Yeah. Okay. Who inspires David? Who inspires Ohm? Who are your inspirations in life?
You'd like to go first, or should I go first? I think I'm lucky in the sense that I have like a handful of those people. But like my top for sure is my high school teacher. Her name is Jane. And so I mean I was in a different like educational system. So I did not get an ATAR. I did not do like the HSC. I did like 2 HSC courses. But most of my time in high school was in a platform called Big Picture, like Big Picture Education Australia. And so we work on projects that we are passionate about. So we don't take tests. We just, every time we work on our project, it can be about anything. So it can be about acting. It can be about learning to play the piano. It could be about game design, whatever, right? And so, and you have one teacher. You have one teacher for the whole time there. So I was with this teacher for 3 years, Monday to Friday, 9 to 3. So at that point, you get pretty close to her. And so I was pretty close, but when I had like this sort of change in my mental health, like she was able to be there for me. And she's some information about her, she's very like, she cares a lot about social issues. She's a very like empathetic person.
Yeah.
She's very like, she's all for like social justice. And so I learned a lot about that from her. And she's like one of the most like compassionate people that I know. And just her way of teaching me and helping me get to a better place really inspired me to kind of like be like her and to get those traits. That's helped me like move forward in the world, and how I approach the world and how I see the world was greatly affected by like who she is as a person. And so yeah, she inspires me a lot for sure. And I still and then after the past few years, I was a co-worker because then I came back to high school to become a tutor. So yeah, it's like the relationship is there.
Very nice, by the way. I didn't know that. That's so sweet.
Yeah.
With me, I actually didn't think about this until now, and I realized it's my brother. He's definitely the biggest inspiration in my life, and I think growing up, like we experienced our childhood together. Obviously, he's almost 7 years older than me, which kind of meant he was the leader of the two of us. He'd kind of be the barricade in a way. If there was any difficulty going on in the family or growing up, he would unfortunately take it, right? And I would kind of be watching it unfold. And over time, that grew up into like this really sweet relationship between us two, where he'd learn his lessons of life, he'd teach them to me, but he would never enforce me to follow what he's done. He would say, this is my advice, do what you want with it and go live your own experience. And having that mindset, I think, really opened me up to just life and whatever it brings. In terms of other inspirations, there's this YouTuber called Corey Kenshin, and like his humor and personality was something that was so refreshing to me. He'd stand up in his chair, yell out the word "Let's go" really loudly.
Oh, is that where you get it from?
Yeah, that's where I get it from. Just stands up, just like yelling, and like he's just so carefree. And at the time, I think it was so unique. This was 2015 maybe, and ever since then, it just clicked with me. Like that's what I want to say, you know. So
Is that line 10 years old with you?
yeah, I've been saying it
wow.
for like 10, 15 years almost.
Become your signature.
I know, right? Let's go, right? And I have other small inspirations, like David Goggins. He's a big one in terms of just mindset to physical challenges. I don't particularly like live by his intense mindsets, but I take bits of it from him, of just do your best, like grind through things, you know. I also am inspired by certain auras by people. So Dr. K, Healthy Gamer GG. He's got this energy about him which I think is really compassionate. It's like he has a lot of knowledge and he knows it, but he doesn't try to tell anyone that, oh, I have this knowledge. You know, it's like it comes out of him naturally. And I think in this age of social media, you know, there's a lot of red pill things going on, people trying to enforce their own values, blah, blah. I think he expresses himself in a way that I really resonate with. So just the accumulation of all these people is what inspires me. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say I don't really have a specific person in mind. I feel like every person influences me in different ways in my life. And I feel like another important point to mention is that sometimes your inspiration can disappoint you, because sometimes you kind of reach a stage where you idolize them, you think that they're perfect, they're never going to disappoint you, but then they're also human, they're also going through things in their life.
That's so true.
They
yeah.
might not be linear the whole time. Managing that disappointment is something that I've never really heard anyone talk about, but it's a really deep emotion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Even I haven't heard of that until
Yeah.
that's so true.
That
Yeah.
makes me realize there's this other YouTuber I watch, his name's Hamza, and he was one of the biggest self-improvement YouTubers, but I felt that there was just this energy about him that I think that I might be projecting here, but I think it was stopping him from achieving the peace he wanted, and I always felt some level of disappointment in that because I thought he couldn't see it. So hearing you talk about disappointment, it kind of shocks me, because this is something that it's been in my head, but I've never brought out.
Yeah, voiced it.
Voiced it, yeah, right. So thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna reflect on that.
And then, like, in terms of inspiration, this is more unconventional. I feel like I inspire myself. I feel like every single person has strength inside them. Either they don't know about it, they know about it, but they haven't fully brought it out, or they doubt it, second guess it. But all of us have strength. And, like, sometimes, like, a lot of people have this habit of comparing, oh, this person's better than me, how am I gonna, like, there's no, like, they feel there's that gap. But at the same time, every person has, I believe at least, that every person has a talent. No matter, like, even if you feel like you don't have as many talents as someone else, but everyone has at least something, at least one. So just hold on to that strength and don't always focus on what you don't have. Focus on that, bring it out, channel it, like, be your own inspiration. Like, for me, like, I always say, like, my measure of success, you know how it varies between person to person. For me, my measure of success, when I see a little girl who's inspired by me, for me, that's like I've achieved it. Like, if I'm just on the bus and I have a little girl staring at me like that, that's for me, like I don't want anything else for my day. Like, that's success.
That's
because
sweet.
I was once that little girl who's looking up to another girl. So the fact that I grew up and I became that inspiration for someone else, I feel like that's really...
That's really sweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Great acknowledgement.
Yeah. We get pretty deep in this society. Okay, this is a question that's very personal to you guys and your dynamic together.
Ooh.
Knowing your closeness, I'm curious to know how you built your strong and supportive friendship. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Do you want to start? I actually don't know where to start.
We just balance.
Yeah,
As in,
yeah,
like,
let's
I
do
give
that.
some points, you give some
Yeah,
points.
yeah, yeah,
It's gonna go on.
Firstly, how long have you been friends for?
2.5 years, me, yeah.
Is it actually?
I'm
Do the
just saying.
calculation.
Quick maths.
He's got it. I'm relying on him. Yeah, nothing's.
Yeah, 3.5 years.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, 3.5 years. Okay. Okay, there's so much, but I guess we just
yeah, somewhere.
Yeah.
click them off. So we're not scared to, like, have a very, like, sensual, like, genuine.
The word choice.
sorry. But it is, like, it feels that way. But, like, a very genuine, like, chance to, like, give, like, appreciation for each other. So we're not scared to, like, it's not like we're not in a relationship.
Yeah.
Mind you, we're just friends. But, like, we send, like, really long messages of, like, appreciation. Like,
Yeah, I just saw them.
oh, really?
No, when you guys were talking on the group chat just now. Like,
yeah,
it was
really?
brief.
Oh, it was brief. But yeah, it was. But, like, like, every, like, birthday or, like, New Year's or, like, a big event, like, we just send each other, like, a whole list on, like, oh my God, you've done so much more life, blah, blah, blah. I'm so glad you're here. that time, blah blah blah, and like we're just not, yeah, like that's just okay and natural for us. And like even the other day, we had a moment where like he was going through something else, and just giving him a hug and like just being like, it'll be okay. Like not being scared to do something like that for your, I guess, for your bro. Yeah, that's one.
I think for me, David came to my life at a moment where I guess I needed it. I really wanted someone that I could connect with, and that really helped. And then throughout life, we went on our own. We had a similar journey, kind of got way of going about what we did, and we just did that together. We spent a lot of time together. We watched shows together. We ate junk food together. We worked out together. We studied together. And I think naturally when you spend time with someone, you get close. But also, I think we were both open-minded to like learning about each other, being, compassionate. And I think that also just made our bond even stronger. But I think the biggest one, I don't know if this was the biggest. Well, yeah, absolutely. I think communication-wise, I loved how open we both are. And I think our journey with making PG Sock, which I don't know if that was our biggest one. I think that whole experience of like learning how to create a society, going about it, David saw, the lows of me, and I saw stresses within him, and we both kind of worked that out. And I think when you see the loss of someone and you go through a bit of a stressful time, that's when a friendship can really strengthen even more, right? So yeah.
Yeah, like we listen to each other very well. In a sense that, again, like back to the judgment thing, that's like not much of judgment at all. And if there is judgment, it's like we're very open to like asking each other questions in order to understand each other more. Like, why did this happen? Why did that happen? Like we don't come from like a very ill content. So we're very compassionate, and like we take the time to each other to like listen to each other. Oh, also that thing before, like I think you mentioned it. It's like sometimes people don't want solutions. I think also like for a lot of guys, they're naturally like solution based.
Yeah, you guys are.
It's also pretty like socially like conditioned, but it's just solution based. Like, and then like the girlfriends are like, no, why can't you just listen to me? But we ask each other like, wait, are you looking for just listening or just like solution? And most of the times we say listen first, and so learning that and just like staying there and listening to them, and going through the emotions. It's a very big thing in how we're able to feel safe with each other and develop that trust. Yeah. Is there any other points you had, or did you have something to say?
Yeah, I want to say something about the solutions. I feel like it depends on the girl also. Like for me, I want a solution, to be honest, but I want the reassurance also. I want both. Okay, give me both.
For sure.
But it's because like I observe myself as a person. I give, like when someone comes to me, I don't reassure them. I give them a solution. So I kind of sit in my masculine energy in that sense. So I understand where you guys come from in that way. You mentioned something at the beginning. I wanted to come. Oh yeah. You know how you were saying your relationship is sensual and like...
maybe I did choose the wrong word, but no, it's funny. It's funny. I'm glad we have some laughs in the podcast.
Okay. Yeah. So you know you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Once I start laughing, I can't stop. Yeah. I think it's a very important... Okay, we're laughing now, but I was going to say a serious point. Yeah. Like I've realized this thing, like obviously... you guys probably have more knowledge and experience on this, but a lot of guys tend to bully other guys about being sensual towards each other. They're like, oh, that's gay, or like whatever. But I feel like we need to stop doing that. Like, I'm not in those scenarios where the guy's doing that to the other guy, but sometimes I see it. Like, if I'm walking by, I hear it. Like, I feel like the whole culture needs to change how we behave with each other. Like even now with the whole dialogue about gender-based violence, it's not just guys towards girls, it's also guys towards guys. I think there really needs to be a change in that way because a lot of people are being affected by it, and yeah, just something to put out there just for awareness and attitude shifting. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Give it a try. Give that sensual.
That's the example.
So funny. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to dig up the past that you kind of alluded to a few minutes ago. What would you say your key lessons and insights were about establishing the society?
It's been a lot, man.
Yeah. How long have we been around for?
Almost 2 years.
Did we start planning in 2022?
2023.
Oh, so
End of
yeah.
2023, yeah.
Yeah, like near the end of 2023. Was it like September? I'm guessing. That's my guess.
We officially got numbers November 30.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. So around that time, well, like ideation time between just the two of us was around like September or whatever. And then November was when like we got our members and we did the application. And then our AGM was in the 2023. And then 2024 was when like the full on. But in terms of insights, do you want to go first? Or should I go first?
You
Let me think.
yeah, take your time.
Yeah, so our first, we can talk about our dynamic and how our friendship kind of like evolved through it. But I'll start at an individual level. Like, it was very big for me. So, you know, identity is a big thing that affects us. Like, we have an identity that we are this, we are that. Like, you might put yourself in a box in terms of like,
Yeah.
I am this introvert, I am this shy person. I am the person who like usually follows people. And so when you put yourself in that perception, that identity, it's very hard for you to get out of it. It's very hard for you to challenge yourself.
So you internalize it.
Yeah, you do internalize it. And I guess like reinforced through like, and then like, yeah, anyways. So for me, it was a great opportunity for me to like step out of that. And I was pretty good at the time with like learning to dissolve my identity. But at that time, being able to see like actionable steps of like, okay, here's me leading and this is what it's gonna look like. And how I grew from that was that I was able to, you know, become like go through that stage of learning how to become a leader. And so that was very big for me. I feel the whole like perception shift. Yeah, we'll bounce it around. So.
I'll add to that. I think really good point. So don't get me wrong, I'm so grateful PGSOC exists. I'm so grateful we took that step. And initially, you know, I met David and we were like, this personal growth thing is amazing. Like just us two, when we were getting to know each other and on our own personal growth journey, I was like, let's do this with more people. So that's kind of how the idea of personal growth came. And I was so excited. I'm like, this is amazing. We get to grow with other people, right? Like, and now that, like, we'll fast forward 2 years, we got a great community of people. I'm like, wow, like, these guys are just my friends hanging out, insightful stuff. So PGSOC started, you know, and I was super excited. But then when I started to realize the responsibilities that I had to take in order to bring that vision to life, I became very fearful. I was honestly very scared. I was like, oh my God, there's so many responsibilities. How am I going to manage this? And I think it was difficult coming to the realization that I'm not sure if I want to actually be this leader. I think I want to really be part of the community where we grow, but I don't know if I necessarily want to lead. And I think that took me a few months to kind of realize. But I think what really helped was David was very understanding of that battle I was having. He recognized that, yes, I am struggling with kind of how I go about it. And maybe you were less so. So it wasn't that much of a struggle for you, was it?
In terms of what? Sorry.
Just the leadership aspect, right?
Yep.
So David was so supportive, and honestly, I think that made it even better. And we just learned to navigate what David likes to do, what I like to plan, and that brought PGSOC to a really great point, I think, where we could just flourish and expand our team to what it is today, right? So, yeah, that's one insight.
From 2 to 18.
Yeah, crazy.
2 to 18.
Wait, like
Yeah. 18
execs.
executives.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the total is even more, right?
Yeah.
You count like everyone who's been an exec.
30. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. What other insights? At some point, we did have like rough patches. Because like actually the original plan was like you would be president.
Yes, yes.
But then the vision was very different, and I think for us, and I think for a lot of things, and like we have an expectation, and there's a reality, and oftentimes reality is different, and so that becomes that can create some like dissatisfaction in ourselves. So at some point in time, I had dissatisfaction for like both of us, like me and like you, and like handling that was quite difficult in terms of like friendship wise. But like we eventually like set our differences and like, okay, let's just restructure and like let's just do what we want to do. Like there's no strict way of leading, there's no strict way of how a president and vice president should be. So we just created our own definitions and we went with that, and that became great, and so our relationship is strengthened through that. So get to know the person that you're working with, and get to know like how they work, and if you guys can manage that and restructure based on that, then things will go well.
Even like when you have a low, I kind of feel like after every low there's a high again. Sometimes you just have to sink so deep so that you could get that momentum to rise back up again. I think that's really important.
Very true.
Well, that's such a great something to know. Like it may seem like you're falling quite far, and you're like, when would this stop? But just try to remember, like hopefully, like it will like bounce back up.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Even if you don't rise like a lot after that low, at least you know for next time like what could happen, and you try to prevent it. So say I don't know, say you get into this wrong mindset, at least you know, oh no, I shouldn't go down this path. It led to this last time. But at the same time, there's also that tricky field of like becoming too hypervigilant. Like I feel like we should keep that balance, as you were saying in the beginning. Stay balanced. I think that's the main thing.
Yeah, don't be paranoid about like, oh my god, when's my next dip?
Yeah.
Just live in the present. Just be in the present.
Okay, last question. What value do you think our society offers, especially in terms of personal growth, growing in community, and our own community as PG SOC executives and members?
I think no doubt PGSOC is such a safe place for you to just be you and find like-minded people to grow with. And that's kind of our motto. Find a place where like-minded people come together to grow in whatever personal growth means to them. And that's the overarching thing for me. Whether that's in a form of a walk, a coastal walk, whether it's in the form of going to get coffee, matcha rave, who knows, subtle. But I think that's what it is to me. I think it's more of a feeling, and a lot of people that have been part of the society come and say, there's something about you guys that feels really homey, really welcoming, and I think that's just the main, I'm going to keep saying it, like that's just the main thing, just being welcoming, because most people want to be understood. They want to be heard. They want to feel welcomed and seen, right? And there are many, many things you can do for that. But at the end of the day, just having a group of people, a safe space where you can fall back to if things aren't really going well, I think that means so much for some people.
It's like a safety net.
Absolutely.
That's a great point. I think also sometimes we're not perfect, so sometimes an event doesn't fully successfully. Look, we're not gonna convert everyone in terms of making sure everyone
Retaining them?
Retain or whatever, or have that ultimate goal of getting to be seen, right? But sometimes I think it's just the little moments. Even if the event is not entirely like rainbows and sunshines, and sometimes it might be difficult. I think those small moments that you can have with someone, let's say we go on a walk, and you just get to talk to someone, and then you guys share a laugh. Even that is something pretty precious, and something that can make someone's day. And this is the same for me. Some events, I'm just looking for those small moments, and I'm trying to be in the present and appreciate those small moments. So yeah, come here and just try to see if you can get those small moments that make your day.
I feel like personal growth also kind of has that reputation of self-improvement, self-help, just social media talk. A lot of people get discouraged by that, but I think don't get discouraged. We're like so community based. We're so like friendly and, as you're saying, homey. You could just come and like, we have very varied events. I'm not trying to sell this to you, but like it's the truth. You could come to like, even just come try one event and you'll see for yourself.
I also want to add, like, if coming to an event is scary, I think being part of our Discord is
true.
a great way to kind of get, understand the team, the people, because we're generally pretty active there, and there are so many different, aspects to it. Biggest one for me being progress and wins. I love that small, forum or whatever you call it, because you just get to say what you're proud of, regardless of how big or small. And I think celebrating the small wins is honestly equally as important as the big ones, right?
Totally.
I'll put in day 102. I went to the gym, I got a bench PB, something like that. People will be like, well done, great job. Someone else will say, I cooked a meal today. It's a community where people are celebrating the small things, and that's amazing. And I think on our general chat, we just have open discussions about whatever. People ask questions, non-judgmental answers. So yeah, I would, I'm not trying to sell here. I get it that it just sounds like that a bit, but yeah, the Discord, I think, really kind of explores kind of how we go about PGSOC. And our Instagram also, the color scheme, the aesthetic, everything. Like it really is an inviting place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we try to fit like a range of people. So people who really want to, there might be people who want to come here and just act and improve and see results. That we have some stuff for them. But people who just want to socialize, or people who they want to get into the idea, or they want to visit the idea of personal growth, but they don't really know what that means for them, like that's completely fine. They come here and chat with people. And so we have events where maybe we go around personal growth topics. We have events where we just walk. We have events like it's just like a picnic, and it's very chill, very social. And so yeah,
it's very broad. Okay, this brings us to the end of our second episode of Diary of an Executive, the official UTS Personal Growth Society podcast. A huge thank you to our incredible founders, David and Ohm, for their appearance on the podcast and for all the valuable insights that they brought with them today. An even bigger thank you to every person who gave us time out of their busy schedule and listened to this episode. If you enjoyed it, please let us know by hitting the like and subscribe buttons and commenting your own thoughts and insights below the video. Until next time, stay safe, take care of yourselves, and really believe that your community will find you eventually, if not here and now, someday and somewhere. There are so many opportunities in this world that we often overlook or are unaware of. Please don't give up hope. It's not over yet, and winning is always an option, even if it doesn't feel possible or even likely. Thank you.
thank you.